between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and the narrow region of the American continent known as Central America, is Guatemala. Cradle of the Mayan culture, from which we inherited millennial architecture, built amid the frequently untamed jungle, which nevertheless seems to smile with pleasure on the flight of quail, the macaw, and the quetzal. This land of rivers and lakes, which fill the spirit with peace and mountains and volcanoes, which propose a vision of dreamy blue, contrasting with the blue of the infinite heavens. Over the still darkened rooftops, daybreak announces its arrival in shades of mango and watermelon. Little by little, it lights up the village, waking some nesting birds in the central park, and to the tune of the cathedral bell, the faith of centuries resounds again. Guatemala, images of our land painted by a divine hand. Guatemala, in the Valley of the Virgin of the Assumption, is a developing metropolis which nevertheless maintains features of the architectural style which accompanied the Spaniards. The historical center city exemplifies this style. According to custom, the city was planned from a centralized concept which brought together political and religious power with trade and commerce. Housing was contemplated alongside the central grid in square blocks measuring 100 meters, which expanded as the population grew. Thus, Guatemala, like other cities in the country, can be identified in its central area by the government building, in this case the National Palace, known today as the Palace of Culture, the Metropolitan Cathedral, the Commercial Arcade, and a recreational Central Park. The National Palace, currently used as a museum, exhibits in its murals and stained glass windows the Guatemalan architecture and artwork from the first half of the 20th century. The Commercial Arcade remains vibrant even after several natural catastrophes and social upheavals. The Metropolitan Cathedral, or Tabernacle Parish, is the church where the Guatemalan Archdiocese celebrates the most important Catholic events. It is surrounded by hundreds of doves which have made its ancient belfries their urban nesting place. The Central Park was at one time a place where many Guatemalans gathered on Sunday afternoon to savor a sweet-corn beverage, atol de elote, or feast on a toasted tortilla with guacamole. And with the doves in flight, some declared their love and pledged wedding vows before the altar. Informal merchants have set up shop on the city street corners to satisfy last-minute shopping urges. Guatemala is, however, a city with much promise for the future. Modern highways and roads, hotel chains, restaurants, gas stations, countless shopping experiences are today symbols with which the growing and modern Guatemala city also awaits the new 21st century. Guatemala City has not always been located in the Valley of La Ermita or Valley of the Hermitage. In fact, the city has been moved on 4 different occasions to 4 different sites. For 3 years between 1524 and 1527, when these lands had just been conquered, the city was settled in the Valley of Iximche, today known as Tecpán, Guatemala, in the department of Chimaltenango, and it was given the name of Santiago de los Caballeros de Guatemala. By the end of 1527, The city was transferred to Almolonga, presently known as Ciudad Vieja, Old City, in Zacatepeques, remaining there until 1541. That year, a terrible flood washed down from the volcano of Agua, or water volcano, and destroyed the city beneath. Later, for over 200 years, the nation's capital found its place in the valley of Panchoy, where it is now currently as La Antigua Guatemala, or Ancient Guatemala. However, the area was subject to earthquakes, which greatly affected the massive colonial structures. In 1773, a series of seismic movements known as the earthquakes of Santa Marta destroyed most of the city, forcing citizens to seek a more secure settlement. And so a fourth city was founded on January the 2nd, 1776, in a large valley known as La Ermita, where it was baptized as Nueva Guatemala de la Asunción, or New Guatemala of the Assumption, some 50 kilometers from the former capital. It was not long before the new city began to grow and turn into Central America's largest metropole. The Marimba Ensemble will now present Quetzaltenango's own maestro Domingo Bentancur with a classic tune dedicated to the Highland train, Ferrocarril de Los Altos.